So, if you want to build a transportation empire today, the absolute last thing you should do is, like, actually buy a car.
Right, which is completely counterintuitive.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, if you follow the blueprint we're unpacking today, you can disrupt a trillion-dollar industry using nothing but a laptop and, well, a bunch of rented digital Lego bricks.
I love that analogy. It's spot on.
You know, you are probably used to the standard scenario. You're standing on a curb, maybe it's raining, you pull out your phone, you press a single button, and almost like magic, a car appears in minutes to whisk you away.
Right, it feels like magic.
It really does.
Yeah.
But what if you wanted to build that magic from scratch? Like, what if you wanted to be the architect behind that exact experience?
It's a fascinating premise, honestly, because that magic you experience on the curb is actually this highly orchestrated collision of, complex software algorithms, economic incentives, and behavioral psychology.
And it's all firing in milliseconds.
Exactly. Every single time you open the app.
And that is our mission for this deep dive today. We are taking this comprehensive development guide on how to build a ride-hailing app from the ground up.
Right.
And we're going to deconstruct the exact business models, the specific tech stacks, and the massive hidden costs behind the platforms that basically run our modern world.
It's a lot to cover.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this, because we are looking under the hood of a system that completely upended entrenched global industries entirely without owning a single vehicle.
It really was a paradigm shift, when Uber first launched in San Francisco back in 2009.
Oh, absolutely.
Because prior to that, starting a transit company meant heavy capital expenditure. I mean, you had to purchase fleets of vehicles, lease physical depots.
By those analog radio dispatch systems, right?
Yeah, exactly. The model we're looking at today just flips that entire equation completely upside down.
Because at its core, a ride-hailing app isn't actually a transportation company at all.
No, not really.
If we think about it, it's just a highly efficient digital matchmaker, a two-sided marketplace.
Right.
On one side, you have the supply, right? These independent contractors with their own cars who have free time and want to monetize it.
Yep.
And on the other side, you have the demand, you, the rider, needing to get from point A to point B. And the app just sits in the middle, introduces the two of you and, well, takes a cut.
And it facilitates that introduction through a very carefully engineered 5-step user journey.
Okay, walk us through the steps.
Sure. So step 1 is the request. You open the app, enter your destination, and pick your ride type.
Like a standard budget ride or a luxury car.
Exactly. Or a larger vehicle for a group. And what happens next is crucial. The app instantly calculates your fare and your estimated arrival time before you even confirm.
Which, I mean, that fundamentally changes the psychology of taking a cab, right?
It really does.
It totally removes the anxiety of sitting in traffic,
Yeah.
just watching a physical meter tick up and up and not knowing if you even have enough cash in your wallet.
Oh, yeah. That upfront calculation is what makes the next phase possible. So step 2 is matching. The system doesn't just blast your request to everyone. An algorithm analyzes the real-time GPS locations of all available drivers in your radius and basically pings the optimal match.
And then step 3 is the tracking.
Yep. Real-time tracking. Both you and the driver see each other's live location on a digital map.
Which leads to step 4, payment, which is entirely frictionless, handled in the background with a saved card or digital wallet.
Right. And finally, step 5 is ratings and feedback.
You know, that mutual rating step is kind of like the invisible glue holding the whole thing together.
100%.
It's this decentralized trust system.
Wow.
By having the rider and driver rate each other, the platform manages quality control without needing, like, a human manager monitoring every single ride.
What's fascinating here is how this specific value proposition creates massive leverage.
How so?
Well, by removing the friction for both sides, the platform can scale geographically at an unprecedented speed. For riders, the service is fast, transparent, reliable. And for drivers, it's a flexible income stream with virtually zero barriers to entry, assuming you have a qualifying vehicle, of course.
And scaling that fast across the globe leads to serious revenue.
Oh, yeah. Huge revenue.
Let's talk about how this digital matchmaker actually generates cash. The foundational revenue stream is the commission model, right?
Yes. The platform takes a flat percentage, usually somewhere between 20 to 30% from every single ride.
But they definitely don't stop there. They layer on dynamic surge pricing.
Which is just an incredible mechanism when you look at how it actually functions under the hood.
Yeah, explain how that works, because it's not just random, right?
No, not at all. Surge pricing isn't just an arbitrary markup. The app basically divides a city map into invisible hexagonal grids, essentially creating hundreds of micro neighborhoods.
Okay.
And the algorithm is constantly comparing how many people have the app open in a specific hexagon against how many drivers are idling in that exact same area.
So, like, if a concert just ended downtown,
Yeah.
the app sees thousands of people opening their phones in one hexagon, but maybe only a few dozen cars are available. So it automatically spikes the price to incentivize drivers from other neighborhoods to drive toward the concert.
Right. It's real-time supply and demand economics coded directly into the infrastructure itself.
That is wild.
It is. And beyond that dynamic pricing, these platforms build out subscription models too.
It's offering monthly fees to lock in user loyalty.
Yeah, with perks like free delivery or discounted rides. They even monetize behavioral friction.
Like charging you a cancellation fee if you make a driver wait too long.
Exactly.
And once you've built this massive, hyper-efficient network of drivers and users across a city, you kind of realize a profound truth.
Which is?
You don't just have to move people, you can move absolutely anything.
Right.
That's how a single app's revenue stream expands into food delivery, grocery drops, and even like commercial freight logistics.
The underlying business architecture is just incredibly elegant in theory.
In theory, yeah.
But, and this is key, you cannot simply copy that theoretical business model, paste it into a new market, and expect a billion-dollar valuation.
Right.
Because the model is entirely dependent on matching local supply with local demand. So the very first step in building a competitor isn't writing a single line of code. It's mapping the specific local market.
Wait, I got to push back on that for a second.
Okay, go for it.
I mean, Uber and Lyft have already spent billions of dollars figuring out the behavioral economics and the traffic algorithms.
True.
We know the five-step model works, and we know exactly how they make their money.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have the blueprint right here in this guide, why do I need to waste months on market research and focus groups? Can't I just hire some developers, clone the interface, and launch my app?
You could, but skipping the local product discovery phase is honestly the fastest way to burn through your capital.
Really? Why?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, an app is just a tool to solve a local logistical problem. Traffic algorithms from Los Angeles do not seamlessly apply to the infrastructure of, say, Mumbai or Amsterdam.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Right. Imagine you take your exact car-hailing clone and launch it in a historic city with dense, gridlock traffic, narrow cobblestone streets, and massive pedestrian zones.
Your cars would just be sitting in traffic forever.
Ah!
And the estimated arrival times would be completely wrong.
Exactly. Your entire service would collapse on day one.
Wow.
But if you had done the market reality check first, you might have realized that specific city doesn't even need cars at all.
It needs, like, a network of electric scooters or motorbikes.
Precisely. And beyond the physical environment, you have to map the digital infrastructure too.
What do you mean by digital infrastructure?
Well, do people in this target market primarily use credit cards, or do they rely on local mobile money systems?
Oh, right.
If you don't integrate the right payment options during the planning phase, no one can even pay you.
Okay, that makes total sense. You really have to adapt the tool to the environment before you start building. And speaking of the build, the source material points out something that completely shifted how I view these platforms. You aren't actually building one app.
No, you're not.
You're building a three-headed monster.
Yeah. The complexity is masterfully hidden from the user. But yes, there are 3 distinct software applications that have to communicate with each other flawlessly.
So first, you have the rider app. That's the sleek interface you use on the curb, right?
Right, the one everyone knows.
It needs real-time GPS tracking, a fare estimation engine, multiple payment gateways, multi-language support, and a system for push notification.
All of that, yeah.
But then, entirely separate from that, you have to build a driver app.
And the driver app has completely different functional priorities.
Like what?
Well, it requires a secure profile verification system, for one, so they can upload licenses and insurance.
Oh, sure.
It also needs a rapid response interface for accepting or declining ride requests, built-in turn-by-turn navigation, and a comprehensive analytics dashboard so the driver can actually track their daily earnings and tax information.
Okay, so that's 2 completely different apps. And the third head of the monster is the one the public never sees at all, the admin dashboard.
Right, exactly.
This isn't even an app on a phone, is it? This is the web-based control room.
Yeah, this is where the company tracks revenue, handles customer support tickets, verifies driver backgrounds, and manually adjusts those invisible hexagonal pricing zones if there's, like, a local emergency or a road closure.
Having 3 separate interfaces like that must create a massive logistical challenge.
Oh, it's a huge challenge. Just think about the required synchronization.
Right.
If a driver takes a wrong turn, their app has to instantly transmit that new coordinate to the admin backend.
Which then has to instantly push that update to the rider's map.
Yep, recalculating the arrival time in real time.
Which means we can't just build a standard static website.
Yeah.
We need a really specific type of digital architecture to handle that constant split-second communication without lagging.
Absolutely.
Which leads us directly into the technology stack. How do we physically construct this 3-headed monster?
So the tech stack is basically the foundation, the plumbing, and the electrical wiring of your digital building.
Okay, I like that.
Breaking down the ingredients from the development guide, you have the front end. That's everything the user visually interacts with on their screen.
Right.
And for this, developers frequently use frameworks like Flutter or React Native.
And there's a very specific budget-saving reason they use those frameworks.
Oh, yeah, a big one.
Instead of hiring one team of developers to write the code in Apple's native language and a completely separate team to write the code in Android's native language.
Which is super expensive.
Right. A framework like Flutter lets a single team write the code once, and it deploys to both types of phones perfectly. It essentially cuts your front-end labor costs in half.
Which is a vital efficiency for any startup.
Definitely.
Then you have the backend. This is the central nervous system processing all the complex logic, the matching algorithms, and the pricing structures.
And the guide mentions this might be built with programming languages like Node.js, Python, or Java.
Exactly. And finally, you have the databases. Systems like PostgreSQL or MongoDB that securely store millions of user profiles, ride histories, and encrypted payment details.
But here is where it gets really interesting to me. When you look at the tech stack for a modern app like this, it's less like forging raw steel from scratch and more like snapping together digital Lego bricks.
I love that comparison.
Because the most crucial parts of this stack are APIs, application programming interfaces.
Yeah, APIs are really the unsung heroes of the modern digital economy.
Totally.
They allow entirely different software programs to talk to each other and share functionality.
Think about it like the little plastic studs on top of a Lego block, right?
Sure.
If you want to build a ride-hailing app, you don't spend billions of dollars launching your own satellites to build a proprietary mapping system.
That would be insane.
Right. You just rent the Google Maps Lego brick. Google provides an API, a specific pattern of digital studs, and your developers build the exact matching holes into your app.
They click together instantly, and suddenly your app has world-class navigation.
Exactly. You don't build a massive banking infrastructure to clear credit card transactions. You plug in the Stripe or PayPal API.
Yep.
You don't build a global telecom network to anonymize phone calls between the driver and the rider. You plug in the Twilio API.
You are essentially renting the world's most powerful infrastructure to power your specific local idea.
It's incredibly efficient.
Yeah.
But renting all those premium Lego bricks every time a user opens the app isn't free.
No, definitely not.
Every map load, every text message, every payment incurs a microtransaction fee. So if you're an entrepreneur, how do you avoid bleeding money before you even know if your local market actually wants your service?
Well, this is where the concept of the MVP becomes your financial lifeline.
The minimum viable product.
Exactly. You absolutely do not build the fully featured enterprise-level application with loyalty programs and split fare calculators on day one.
Right, you go bankrupt.
Yeah. You build a stripped-down version that only has the core essential features required to book and complete a ride. You launch that MVP to gather real-world user feedback and prove that your business model works.
So you don't start out paying for massive, heavy-duty server hosting on Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud right out of the gate.
Nope. You keep your overhead low and scale up the servers only as your user base actually grows.
That's smart.
But here is a critical warning from the source material. Building an MVP does not mean you can compromise on testing.
Oh, of course.
Releasing a buggy app is a death sentence for a marketplace that relies on trust. The guide actually outlines 4 distinct pillars of testing you must pass before going public.
Okay, let's walk through the stakes of these tests.
So first is functionality testing. Does the core logic actually work? Like when a rider requests an SUV, does the system accidentally dispatch a motorcycle?
That would be bad.
Very bad. Second is performance testing, which is all about stress and load.
This is where you avoid melting your servers.
Oh, God.
Imagine you skip performance testing, you launch your MVP, and a massive thunderstorm hits. Suddenly, 500 people try to book a ride at the exact same millisecond.
Right. And if your back-end architecture isn't optimized, the whole app crashes.
And you've instantly lost the trust of your entire initial user base.
You're done before you even started. The third pillar is security testing.
Right, because you are handling real-time, highly sensitive location data, tracking people's physical movements, and processing their credit cards.
The encryption and data protection have to be ironclad to prevent breaches.
For sure.
And finally, there's the phase that catches everything the developers miss, user acceptance testing, or UAT.
Because humans do unpredictable things that developers just never account for.
Always.
Like, what if a rider has a frozen screen and frantically taps the Confirm Ride button 12 times? Does your app charge their credit card 12 times and dispatch 12 cars?
You won't discover that kind of behavioral edge case until you put the app in the hands of real people during UAT.
It sounds like an incredibly rigorous, demanding process.
It has to be.
Okay, so we've mapped the local market, we've designed the three-headed monster for the rider, driver, and admin, we've snapped together all our API Lego bricks, and we've rigorously stress-tested our MVP.
We've done the work.
So what does this all mean for the budget? Like, what is the actual price tag of innovation when we finally reach the checkout counter?
Well, the numbers vary significantly depending on the scope of what you're trying to build.
Sure.
According to the development guidelines, a basic minimum viable product will cost between $40,000 and $60,000, taking roughly 2 to 3 months to construct.
That gets you in the game. It's just the starting line.
Exactly. Now, if you want a mid-range custom application with more refined features, perhaps integrating advanced analytics and better UI, you're looking at $70,000 to $150,000, taking 6 to 9 months.
Okay, that's a big jump.
It is. And if your ambition is to build a fully featured, advanced enterprise-level app that rivals the complexity and scale of an Uber or a Lyft right now, you're looking at a minimum of $150,000 to well over $300,000, requiring 9 to 18 months of development time.
Wow. Now, the source also mentions an alternative shortcut, right? A pre-built clone script.
Yes, that is an option.
You can buy a white label ride-hailing framework for $15,000 to $50,000 and deploy it in just a few months.
Right. It's significantly less customizable, but much faster to market if you just need to validate a local niche.
But looking at the massive range in those custom development costs, there is one giant variable that dictates where you land on that budget spectrum.
Oh, absolutely. The geographic location of your development team. The wage disparity in global tech is just staggering.
It really is. I mean, if you choose to hire an agency or developers based in North America or Western Europe, you are paying a huge premium, typically $80 to $250 an hour.
Right.
But if you outsource that exact same project to an experienced team in South Asia or Eastern Europe, the hourly cost drops to $20 to $70 an hour.
It's a massive difference.
That single operational decision can literally cut your initial budget in half.
It's a major strategic factor.
Yeah.
But, focusing solely on the initial build cost is kind of a trap.
How do you mean?
Well, what new entrepreneurs consistently fail to realize are the hidden, ongoing realities of software economics.
Okay.
During the initial build phase, quality assurance and testing alone will consume 15 to 20% of your total budget. But more importantly, software is never, ever finished.
Right. It isn't a house. You don't just pour the concrete, hand over the keys, and walk away.
Exactly. Software rots if it isn't maintained.
Rots.
Yeah. The source notes that ongoing annual maintenance will cost 15 to 20% of your initial development cost every single year.
All right.
Forever.
Let's really linger on why that is, because it's pretty profound. If you spend $200,000 building an app, you need to budget at least $30,000 to $40,000 every year just to keep the lights on.
Bare minimum.
Yeah.
Right?
Why? Because the digital environment around your app is constantly shifting.
All the time.
Let's say Apple releases a new iPhone with a slightly different screen size.
Yeah.
Or they update iOS and change how apps are allowed to request GPS permissions.
Right, and if you don't have developers on retainer to immediately update your code to comply with those new operating system rules, your app suddenly loses access to the phone's location data.
And your entire business model goes offline overnight.
Literally overnight.
Or what if Stripe updates their payment API? They change the shape of their Lego studs, which means your payment gateway breaks until your developers update the matching holes in your app's backend.
Exactly. You are constantly patching bugs, upgrading server capacity, and adapting to third-party changes.
Never stops.
Never. These are the exact same financial realities and gravitational forces faced by the massive competitors in this space, whether it's Lyft in the US, Ola in India, or Bolt in Europe.
They're all managing this exact same massive overhead just to tread water.
Exactly right.
Which really brings us full circle. The next time you're standing on that curb and you press that single button on your phone, you won't just see a car arriving anymore.
You'll see the whole system.
You're going to see the invisible architecture. You'll envision the 3 separate apps constantly pinging data back and forth in milliseconds.
Yep.
You'll see the APIs pulling in live mapping coordinates and clearing credit card holds in the background. And you will understand the massive ongoing financial investments required to maintain that completely seamless, magical user experience.
Understanding this infrastructure really transforms how you look at the entire digital economy, You start to see the complex scaffolding supporting the clean, minimalist storefront.
It really does. Which leaves us with one final, somewhat provocative thought for you to ponder before your next ride.
All right, let's hear it.
If building a massively successful disruptive platform today relies almost entirely on integrating third-party APIs, if your entire business model relies on renting Google's Maps for navigation, renting Stripe's infrastructure for payments, and renting Amazon's servers for hosting, who really holds the power in the modern tech ecosystem?
Oh, wow. That is a good question.
Is it the visionary entrepreneur who designed the app and connected the local supply with demand? Or is the ultimate power held by the giant tech monopolies who supply all the essential digital Lego bricks?
I mean, if they raise the rent.
Exactly. Because if they decide to raise the rent on those bricks or change the rules of access, none of these cars are showing up.